Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Alright, and let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say tonight? Alright. And so, our card for this evening is the Ace of Swords. And this card has everything to do with courage, potential, being assertive, innovative, full of energy. That creative lifeblood, and really just the beginning of those fires coming together. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with this little heart right here. It is perfectly formed. It's in that kind of material zone on the flat plane of the bowl here. So this is something in your mundane life. This is somebody that you love very much. Probably, I would assume, a romantic relationship. Somebody who is important to you. And, no, not tonight, mister. So if anybody watched the end of the Libra video, watched the Libra reading, Mr. Pudgy here came and pulled the whole top of the table stuff over, almost off the table. Thankfully I caught it, but it's at the end of that reading. And so now I'm being very vigilant about keeping him a little bit away. Okay, so so we have somebody who you love, care for, who loves and cares for you. And I'm just kind of looking here. And I feel that it seems like the situation with you two, with you all, is committed, okay? But I also feel like it seems like you make a good partnership, friendship. Maybe you are together, maybe you are not. Maybe you're dating, maybe you're married, I don't know. But there is a sense of togetherness, right? And I think that because it's located here in this kind of mundane physical plane here, it makes me think that, yeah, you really get along, like, domestically. You, you know, like each other. You love each other. You're good partners. But it seems like, as I'm looking at all these, at these other formations, now I see here, it almost looks like a pot on the fire, okay? And it kind of looks like we have a blackbird looking into the pot, okay? And so for me, this really makes me think of kind of alchemizing, well, these are your emotions here, but also spiritual, also physical. So really bringing everything together, finding a way in your life to live probably what you really strive for, which is a spiritual lifestyle. At least implementing your spiritual inclinations, religious inclinations, beliefs, your faith, your grace into all aspects of your life, into especially your day-to-day, okay? I get the impression that you don't necessarily connect with this person who you love. Let me understate that. Underline that. Not understate, underline. You know, you love this person, but I feel that you do not connect with them on a deep level. At least not yet. I do wonder, you know, if it has been kind of a sore spot in your relationship, like an ongoing thing over the years, maybe even. Really, you know, maybe on an intellectual level, you connect. Domestically connect. You know, you feel, you know, a decent amount of love for them, but it just doesn't transcend beyond that. And I think that that can make somebody feel, I don't know, you know, maybe a little bit worried that you'll never grow into all of it. Maybe that this is not your person. Okay. But I think the most important thing really is that you go inward, right? You do the work within your spiritual realms, your emotional realms. When you are courting the beloved, the interior beloved, the anima, the animus, when you are going through the process of integration, you know, confronting old pains, working on blockages, you know, the way that we perceive people in our lives may be a little bit different than it will be at the end of, or at least later in the journey, right? Sometimes we're going through painful things. We're healing ourselves. We are desperate for space in our own lives. You know, maybe we've grown up in a way that we feel that we need to have some kind of partner, some kind of family unit. And so sometimes we pick people who are ill-matched to us. And we stay the course, right? And as we're doing this interior work, it sometimes exposes where there are those misalignments. On the other side of that, I think that it can also amplify the connection with the people that you choose to be your family, right? I think also what we can learn through these works, through these processes of synthesizing self, is that other people do not have to embody all of our hopes and needs and wants and all of that. You know, sometimes it's okay for us to just kind of get along, like each other enough, right? We don't have to be each other's everything. Now, in a romantic sense, that can be difficult. You know, to kind of grow into that understanding. And sometimes we do meet people who are everything, right? And when somebody does do that, when they're lucky enough to find somebody who is their everything, and they do get along well, and they do, have a good partnership, and they have a beautiful family, and, all these things, and they are very blessed. But the reality of life is that that's not for everybody. Okay. So as I look at this bird looking down, it makes me think that, the process that you are kind of maybe going through consciously is related to this kind of Saturnine energy, right? And that is a bit melancholy. It's hard. It's hard when we're driving out those things that hurt. When we, it's our, not unlike a baby, right? We just yearn for somebody to come and soothe us, to help us feel better, to help us, get through the terror of life, of just being a human being. And sometimes that just doesn't happen. So what do? We look inward. We work through these things. We figure out how to parent ourselves, how to be our own saviors, how to, find the divine, how to cultivate our relationship within ourselves with that beloved, but also with the universe, with God, with Goddess, divinity, whatever that looks like to you. Okay. And so I also see a person kind of sitting here and gazing at this heart. And they're sitting kind of in this emotional but very spiritual zone. And I think really, what this says to me is that you are, you're committed to this relationship, and you are, kind of contemplating getting through these things, working on yourself, honoring your promises, your responsibilities. Tempering yourself. And, I think that as long as there's not anything super unhealthy going on or any kind of abuse, of course, please, be safe and don't stay with somebody if you can get away from that. I know it's a very complex thing, but that's not what I'm talking about here. What I am talking about is sometimes in relationships, there are just periods of time where we don't feel very connected. But we work through the things that we are within ourselves. And I think that it's natural, it's part of the ebb and flow to kind of pull apart sometimes so that we can focus on the things that we need to within ourselves. It doesn't mean that you don't love each other. It doesn't mean that you won't grow back into something stronger. Sometimes it just doesn't work out though, and that's hard, but that's okay too. So, let's see. We have a person that looks like they're kind of have their arms raised. It looks like they kind of are, I imagine somebody who is, kind of enchanted with the sky. And really where this is all going for me is that these things that kind of distract you, limit your, the amount of bandwidth you have, because we worry about our, our mundane entanglements with others. I think that you are very much in love with the world, with your life, with the beauty of being a spiritual being. There's a lot of creativity in you. There's a lot of intuitive, clairvoyant, maybe nature. I feel that, you are focused on connecting with spirit. And I think, I could kind of see where you could get into something like energy work. And I almost wonder if in the past there was somebody in your life who had maybe like a chronic illness, chronic pain, and it seems like you were maybe like you were called to kind of be near them often, and your presence was very helpful for them. And I think you're probably a very lovely person, and a wonderful caretaker, but I think that you also have the ability to really do redirecting energy, healing, maybe, laying of hands, this kind of stuff. Okay, I think that it's like the vibration is, heightened. You bring the frequency up, the vibration up when people are around you. And that is very healing. And also, I think it just eases any kind of anxiety, any kind of pain. And so I think that this was something that you really began to notice through these interactions. And so I think that, this could be a calling for you, ultimately, to get into this kind of practice. Maybe informally, maybe formally, I don't know. Okay, and let's see. It reminds me of one of those dandelion things that you blow, the seed pods, and make a wish. And so I think this is a wonderful time for you to really focus on what it is that you want to do. Let go of your ties, at least in your mind, your ties to whomever or whatever, and think about what would you like to do? What do you see yourself doing in these next months, in these next years? I think that you should really consider making a plan, thinking about how can I manifest these things. All of this work that you have been doing these last months that I've been doing readings for you, I feel that there's been a sense of just such a shift in self-empowerment, self-realization, being fully in this place of letting go of the things that kind of drag you down, that make you feel terrible. Kind of being, your own advocate. And not afraid to shed that those people, those things, those ideas, those conditioning, the things that have been conditioned, that don't serve you anymore. A lot of freedom happening. A movement towards a greater freedom. Okay. So, I have a little bird sitting on a branch. And I almost wonder, I have this feeling of getting ready to kind of a migration, right? I feel like you are watching the wind, watching the patterns in the weather, noticing your surroundings, being very present in how you feel about where you're at. I think that this is a really interesting and beautiful time for you. I think that a lot of your life you've been going along to get along, right? Just kind of going through the motions sometimes, doing what you have to do. And although you have dreams, of course, you didn't really allow yourself to think about that stuff too much. Well, this is a new era for you. And part of this empowering of self is being somebody who is more perceptive, more intuitive, looking at those details in the way that things feel, the impressions that you're getting, so that you can make a decision and stick with it. So I think that, definitely a most blessed time, And I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the reading, it really helps the channel get into the algorithm, and the algorithm kind of decides everything, right? So any kind of engagement is really helpful. The liking, watching the readings all the way through, sharing the video, like off on some social media if you want, of course. No pressure there. But other than that, if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell when you subscribe, and it will let you know when the next videos are coming out. And between now and the next Sagittarius, you can watch your other placements, your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising, Venus, and cross-watching. I'm always like, what is the last one? You can watch any of your it could be your Saturn placement, your Jupiter, your Lilith, whatever you want. But yeah, if you want to cross-watch, definitely do that. And I only learned what that was not that long ago, which is, if you don't know, you probably have seen it somewhere if you watch these kinds of readings and tarot readings and stuff. But cross-watching is when you watch the readings of the signs of people that you love, your crush, your spouse, your kids. So it seems like a lot of people watch their people's solar ones, from what I gather. It's anecdotal though, just from the comments I read. So anyways, other than that, yeah, if you want to leave a comment, I read them all. It takes me a minute, and I'm powering through. I love to take my time with them, because some of them really are such a vibe. It's just such a full vibe. And I like to kind of immerse myself in how they feel. I don't know. I feel a lot of inspiration communicating with you all, and your stories, your encouragement. Just some of you are so funny and so sweet, and so anyway, sometimes it does take me a little bit. Plus, we have a lot of stuff going on over here, and my daughter, she has endless energy, so a lot of stuff going on in that department too. Just toddlers, they so busy. So Anyways, I want to thank you again, and I appreciate you. I hope that as I'm doing this reading, it is the full moon, and I hope you all are happy and safe in this next little cycle. And I can't wait to see what August is going to bring us all. It seems like it's going to be wonderful all around. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you.